In 2024, this year so far, our financial counsellors have seen more than 4,000 people to help with financial stress and financial hardship. Our results and research from these 4,000 clients tells us that people with elevated stress wait more than 12 months before they reach out for help, which makes things harder to unwind and to help people who've waited so long. Mortgage holders are more likely to reach out for help than renters. The combined debt of those 4,000 people who've reached out for help is more than $200 million. That's a lot of stress. My name is Malachy O'Donnell. I'm a third-generation Australian, actually, with a very Irish name, and I work with the Financial Wellbeing Collective. And I'm here to show you some innovative supports and ideas that might help you and those you care for and your ecosystem, your community, like it has thousands of others in the Perth and Western Australia area. We don't talk about money much as a society or socially, but just for now, let's have a chat about money. When I talk about money or I mention the word money, how does that make you feel? I'd like you, if you've got some ideas, just to yell out at me. When the word money comes up, how do you feel about money? Not enough? You detest money. That's a really interesting comment. Taken away? Inflation, right. Anxiety. Excellent. These are really interesting words. Money means different things to different people. They say that your ideas around money are often formed by the age of 7. It's a really primary part of our well-being, of our person. But what about some expressions that you may have heard from your parents when you were growing up about money? Can you throw out some of those to me? Money doesn't grow on trees. Not legally, it doesn't, certainly. Every penny counts. I'm not made of money. Cash is king. If I can't take it with me, I'm not going. Excellent. Was there another one? There's no pockets in shrouds. Excellent. These feelings and these expressions and these thoughts that we have about money start to make up our money story. I'm going to get back to our money stories in a minute, but it's important for us to recognise that money plays a different role in all of our lives. So what do you do if you're experiencing financial stress? What can you do to improve your financial well-being? Well, to start off with, you have to acknowledge how this affects you personally. Don't delay. The earlier you get on track with your finances, the better. Don't wait 12 months if you're experiencing financial hardship before you reach out. Typically, that's what happens, as I've already mentioned, but please don't wait that long. Get in control by setting time aside for your money matters. Plan and take a step-by-step approach, acknowledging each task, and tick it off as an achievement. And seek help from a financial counsellor if you need it. There are 3 steps that we go through sometimes, not always. The first step is a financial health check. It's understanding your current position. It's undertaking a health check. It's like that. Track and analyse your expenditure. Identify your habits. Things like streaming fees and all of these other things, that Office 365 and these monies that just go out of your account infinitum. The second step is to understand your money mindset. We've just had a little talk about money mindsets, But knowledge is only 25% of your success in the way you manage money. How you apply your knowledge is another 25%. But 50% of your influence with money is your behaviour, is your money story, is the way you think and feel about money. Sometimes people with lots of insights and knowledge about money still make very poor decisions. Sometimes that's because of the money story that goes with them. So know your money story, know your money mindset, and factor this into your plan, and focus on behavioural change as well as accumulating knowledge. Plan, plan, plan again. Chunk it down. Make your goals achievable. Create SMART goals, goals that are achievable and measurable. Consider what your needs are versus your wants. Loud budgeting. So what's loud budgeting? Loud budgeting is when some colleagues or some friends of yours want to go out on Friday night and they say, let's go out for dinner. And you can say to them, Friday night's not a great night for me. This is not my week for going out. Maybe we can just go out to a park and have coffee. So by acknowledging the fact that you're budgeting and that you're going through this process and making it vocalised is a way that you can actually help yourself achieve your budgeting goals. Make your budgeting and your plan and your vision visible and bring it to life. I acknowledge the traditional owners. So who is the Financial Wellbeing Collective? We're a collaboration of 12 not-for-profit community service organisations and local government. We have lead partners like Anglican Uniting. We also have local government like the City of Coburn, community legal centres like Gosnells Community Legal Centre, Midlist, Sussex Street. We provide many services with the aim of reducing the drivers and impacts of financial hardship in the community, and we help people increase their knowledge, manage their debt, improve their money management confidence, and build financial resilience and well-being for a brighter financial future. Our services range from crisis intervention with services like ERFAS, which is Emergency Relief and Food Access Service, financial counselling, financial coaching, energy coaching, and financial literacy education. We have a financial wellbeing hub. There's a 1-800 number, or you can find us by simply looking up the Financial Wellbeing Collective on the internet. There's an online inquiry form that you can fill out. You don't need to speak to anybody. It may not directly impact you, but it might be one of your colleagues or someone that you know. It might be an elderly parent. It could be someone in your ecosystem that really needs financial support. So there is a way to access that by going through a financial wellbeing hub. You can also go through the National Debt Helpline. So what is financial counselling? It is a free, independent and confidential service offered by not-for-profit community organisations. Financial counsellors are skilled professionals who provide advice and support to people who are struggling with debt. Anybody experiencing financial hardship who is worried about bills or debt can access financial counselling. It's not means tested. So if you have some concerns and, like when my father passed away, working with Mum, who, my dad was definitely a patriarch. Mum had no experience with money. She was quite happy that way. But when Dad left, it left a gaping hole. We all had to help Mum through that. But Mum was lucky. She had 3 children. And most of them are cleverer than I, so she was really fortunate. But that's not always the case with people. So if you do have someone, an elderly parent or a neighbour that needs some help, this is a really good pathway for them to speak to someone who can face-to-face. You can go and see them. This is a service that can really help people in financial hardship. What do the financial counsellors do? Well, traditionally they go through a process of financial assessments, working out what is the lay of the land with your money. They can do debt negotiation and advocacy. If you've got the bank that's looking to foreclose, or you're getting letters from debt collectors, the financial counsellors can actually advocate on your behalf. They can get authorities to act on your behalf, and they can actually go and ring up the bank and they can talk on your behalf. This is really beneficial for people who have barriers with language and there's many barriers that can impact people and their ability to manage money. Payday loans are I can say it, we're all friends here, they're terrible bloody things. They can get people in a lot of trouble. So we've had people presenting with 15 or 20 payday loans, and they can be very damaging. So financial counsellors can help with financial stress. They can help you with your consumer rights in education on that matter. They can help you understand your financial entitlements, and they can help you navigate bankruptcy support. It is easy for people to think, well, I'll just go bankrupt. That's not always the best options for people, but where do you go if you don't have money to pay for guidance? You can simply go to financial counsellors, and they can help you navigate that complex topic of bankruptcy. One of the things I value a lot about financial counsellors is their ability to understand the other support services that are available to people. So whether it be mental health support, there is many. There's so many, I wouldn't even begin to try and make a list. There's many supports that are available to people that are experiencing financial hardship. So, we have a contract with EPWA, which is Energy Policy WA, and in conjunction with Synergy, we have a really innovative program that helps you understand and use your energy consumption in your households. There's not a lot of levers that you can pull when you're presenting, and when you've got people presenting for financial counselling, when inadequate income is their primary issue. What can you do when someone simply doesn't have enough money? Well, the Energy Ahead program is quite revolutionary in this sense, and we're very fortunate to have a government that would provide money in this regard. We're also really fortunate that we've got a monopoly in WA. I don't know how you do this in other states. So what it does, primarily, it helps you understand your energy use and your bills, and it also has a really positive impact on the environment. We have energy coaches that can come to your home and assist you to understand what each of your household items costs to run per hour. You can plug in your fridge, you can understand what your air conditioning costs per hour to run, what your heating costs to run. So if you've got people that are sitting at home in a boiling hot day that are too afraid to use their air conditioner because of the prohibitive assumed cost of that, if you are experiencing financial hardship, which is a criteria to actually access the Energy Ahead program, the coaches will come to your house for free and they will go through and step through and say, if you have your air conditioner set at 24 degrees, it's going to cost you X amount of cents per hour to run. This is really empowering for people who are really scared of their budget and sit there in really uncomfortable freezing cold in winter or boiling hot in summer because they're just not sure about how their energy is going to cost them. So they give you tips to reduce your energy consumption. They can give you, there's some gifts to reduce your energy bills, like energy-saving light globes. They actually give you a comfort item. In winter, it was an electric throw rug, which you could go over your knees just to keep you warm. An electric throw rug uses a lot less electricity than an electric heater does. We have a case study here of a client who was on a disability support pension. This is a real person who was behind in his water bills and had accrued a large debt with Synergy. He was unable to manage on his fixed income. Through this program, he reduced his debt from $1,000 down to $340 by simply changing the way that he used electricity. The coaches helped him save his fortnightly consumption from $131 a fortnight down to $28. That extra money that he had in his account was allowing him to survive in other areas and pay down some of his debt. So we understand that money is difficult in the cost of living crisis, but if you do have this is a really good way that you can empower. It's a step that you can take. It is an empowering way to get control of some of the ways that you spend your money. We have hardship utility grants, which we call HUGs. It's pretty cute. Hardship utility grants are accessed through your utility provider. These are means tested, but if you've got people that are behind in your energy bills, a HUG is a gift. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. Their applications are initiated through your utility provider, so call them as soon as you're experiencing hardship to discuss your options. There is qualifying criteria with that. You need to have a debt more than $300. You need to have tried to come to a resolution with your utility provider and been on a plan for more than 90 days. So there are some qualifying criteria with that, but there's no need to have your electricity cut off. If you're experiencing those sorts of financial hardships, then a hardship utility grant might be something that you can access to help you keep the electricity on. Pete? Oh, well, I'm sure it goes backwards. If I keep pushing buttons, it could go off. I'm not going to risk it. The final one that I'd like to talk about today is our ERFAS, Emergency Relief and Food Access Service. It's a phone-based service, and what it can do is it can help people who need emergency relief. So if you know someone that's in dire straits and they're simply not able to afford something, and the ERFAS team can give you access to food bank. You get 6-month access to food bank. You can actually get emergency. You can get food vouchers. I don't know if any of you understand how food bank works, but you buy things by the kilo. You can go to the warehouses, or you can access the trucks that come around, and you pay for food in the warehouse by the kilo. You can fill up a shopping trolley full of things, and they weigh it on a big weigh bridge, and you pay, I don't know, $12 a kilo or something like that. So if you got, you can get like a big trolley worth of goods for not a lot of money, $30, $40. Just recently, we have got ERFAS staff to operate out of food bank at the airport warehouse. So people can actually just go to food bank now and go in there and speak to our ERFAS staff. You can go through, you need to give some information. There is some criteria around just collecting, when you're receiving handouts like this, you need to go on record and be tracked so that it's used appropriately. But you can get a $30 or $50 gift card. It'll actually allow you to go and buy food there and then on the spot. It takes about 20 minutes to access that information for them to just go through and qualify that. Again, if you come across somebody that really needs help and they're really struggling, ERFAS is a really good place to go for that. It facilitates a pathway. There is a lot of service providers that come up with money that can be accessed via ERFAS. So it's really multi-denominational in the sense that there's many partners that contribute to that phone service. So the resources that I've got up here on the screen, there it is, ERFAS. It's gone back. Look at that. Crazy. Goodness. So resources, the Financial Wellbeing Collective, the fwc.org is the website that you can access the broader part of those services that I was speaking about. Moneysmart.gov is a really great resource for those of you who don't know, a government website that's got some really great tools, including a budget planner. It's a budget planner that you can use yourself. You can fill it out. You can download it to your desktop. So if you do need to do some budgeting and you want to start taking some proactive steps, MoneySmart's a really good place to go. The Financial Information Service, which we affectionately refer to as FIS, is part of Services Australia. This is probably one of the best services that I think can help a lot of people. A Financial Information Services, you can book an appointment with one of their money coaches and go through your financial situation with them. They can give you a 10 or a 12-page report on your personal financial situation. They can do a lot of things like financial planners do, but they don't actually give specific advice. So they might say you need to put money in super, but they won't say, well, you need to go and use a particular super fund. But the services that they provide are really, really handy. I think it's a really underutilised service. So if anybody that really doesn't know where to start, You can get to a financial counsellor, but financial information services are a really, really great service, and I would recommend it to anybody who really needs some help. I'll leave you one last point before I go, and that would be, it's a program that's not specifically run via the Financial Wellbeing Collective, but it is run by one of our partners, and that's the Rent Relief Program. It's actually run by Anglicare and St Vincent de Paul. The Rent Relief Program was an initiative, again, by the state government that was to help people that are in rent arrears primarily. Up this year to date, they've paid out $5.5 million for people who have been struggling with rent, $2.6 million for people in rental arrears, $2.9 million in future rent, and they've helped 1,338 households maintain their tenancy. It's a single payment of up to $5,000 per household, and the purpose of the payment is to clear rental arrears, and in some circumstances, 50% of future rental costs for a maximum of 3 months' rent. Future rent will be assessed and paid through a co-contribution model, which requires the tenant to demonstrate their commitment to the tenancy by paying 50% or more of the weekly rent. It's a really good service for people that are struggling with their rent and are facing eviction. And so that program, you can just access that by Googling rent relief on the internet. So that concludes the formal part of my presentation. I really wanted to just encourage people to reach out if you do need help. We really do love to help. It is a free service. And we have 28 financial counsellors from Mandurah to Yanchep. So if you do know someone that needs financial assistance, please reach out and ask for help.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we do have a few questions coming through, so we'll see how we go.
Sure.
The first one is, what are the practical suggestions, e.g. behaviour change strategies, to become better at money management and to improve financial wellbeing in the current socio-economic environment?
Wow, it's a big question. I think, look, you know, if you're in strife, you acknowledge that you need help, then reach out for help. That's probably the number one message I would really love to make clear. Don't leave it for 12 months. You know, when we talk about our own money story and we then start to get into the area of cognitive psychology, you know, the sorts of things that we would talk about when it comes to those feelings and thoughts that we have about money is to really listen to the way we think and act. You know, the topic of, you know, what does money mean to you and what are the stories that you've held and how do you feel about money is the first steps that we would take someone in financial coaching. We have a partnership with Keystart that provides a formal coaching program to people that helps them go through that process of analysing the way you think about money and the way it makes you feel. But certainly, you know, that listening to the way that you do think about money and catching those thoughts. You know, someone mentioned before that money was bad. It's not uncommon for people to say that, especially people who've had a really bad experience with money when they were younger. There's reasons for it, I'm aware of them, but some of them. But if you do have a really toxic feeling or sentiment about money, it's good to reach out and get help. There's no simple answers to it, but part of that journey is around listening to the way that you think about money and catching yourself when you say, I can't do this, it's just too hard. Catch those thoughts and reframe them. Say to yourself, you know what, there is people out there that can help me. You know, we did more than 6,000 appointments last year. And that really, what the idea of talking about those numbers is really to help normalise it, that it is actually really common. The fact that I mentioned mortgage holders are more likely to reach out for help is to say that it is actually really normal. There's a lot of people that are stressed out there. You know, even with ERFAS, our emergency food access service, we now have more people reaching out for emergency relief for the first time ever than the people that have called up for the second or more times. There's 10,000 calls go through that service a year, and a lot of them are people that are reaching out for the first time. So this is one of the points that I really love to make, is it's okay to acknowledge that you're financially stressed and that you need help, and here's some of the pathways for you to access them.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm going to squeeze in one really quick one before we go, is IRFAS available in regional areas of WA?
Yes, it is, absolutely. Yes, IRFAS is a regional based service. The phone number was up on the screen before. But yeah, you can access it through the Financial Wellbeing Collective. But yeah, IRFAS is statewide. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you, everyone.